Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning, depending on when you're listening to this. Welcome to the 55th of hopefully many episodes of bardadvice, a D&D slash TTRPG slash nerd podcast where I, Charles Chaz Yazik, the DM, the bard, however you may know me, do my best to answer any of your questions about any of those topics. At the top of the show, we like to remind everyone of the email, which is bardadvice@gmail.com. It also looks like bardadvice, if that helps you remember. Please send any and all questions, queries, criticisms, complaints, critiques, etc. to bardadvice@gmail.com. If you'd like to get some merchandise, you can do so over at manshorts.com. And if you'd like to contribute to anything that I'm doing musically, you can do so directly via PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, all of which are Yazik, Y-A-H-Z-I-C-K. Hope that everybody's doing well. Happy Friday. It is the first Friday of the new year. Here we are in 2024, which I can't believe. It's pretty crazy that it's 2024. Funny enough, this is the first year that I would be eligible to run for president. But I'm not completely insane, so that wouldn't happen. Let's see. What else have we got going on? Hi, everybody, all of the people in chat. Also, at the top of the show, like to thank all of our members, patrons, super chatters. Remind everybody to please like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on notifications. And we will talk about that actually later, the thing notifications, but that's a pretty interesting thing. The art corner that we have for this week kind of snuck up on me. It was just an episode that I watched yesterday, but there's kind of two things that I wanted to talk about. I have not read this manga, but there is this new animated show that is streaming on Netflix. It looks like it's going to be streaming serially, so I think only the first one is out now. It's called Delicious in Dungeon. It's okay. I don't think that it's like incredible. I have no real frame of reference because I've not read the manga, but apparently the manga ran from like 2014 to just recently finished, I guess, and so now they're animating it. So that's just something to check out if you're in the space of Dungeons and Dragons type animated stuff. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of that over the course of the next decade or so. And then also, while we're here on Art Corner, I just thought I'd show everybody this cool image that I made in Midjourney 6, which is pretty insane. Midjourney 6 is really crazy. So I've been messing around with that and coming up with stuff, and just thought that was a cool little cowboy image that I would share with everybody. But yeah, check out Delicious in Dungeon and see what you think. Let's see. The exhale at the beginning of the always reminds you of the Squid Game episode. Well, I haven't seen that new show. I guess it's like a reality show. They made it like a real reality thing. I don't know. Sent me my new song. Wait a minute, is that Nate? I did get something recently that was really good. I enjoyed it. I haven't yet to. I've yet to respond to it, but I have listened to it, at least most of it. And I don't think that we ever had. We've never done them as a sponsor, Chris. So I've not ever had any kind of promo code for them that I'm aware of. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. What you sent over so far. I'll have to give it a more thorough listen this evening. But Cowboy Al, yeah. Oh, that's all. That's where all that comes from, is Cowboy Al. All right, so we've got some questions this evening that we're going to get into. Looks like we've got quite a bit, actually. There's 7 and a follow-up, and then we'll do a little chat and talk about some other things. I'll talk about it again later, but just so that everybody is aware if they weren't already and didn't know, I have finished my lyric video for Organized Lightning. That's available over on my Yazik YouTube channel. I've put a link in the description for it, but you can follow along with it. It's just the entire album. I just laid it all out and then did the lyrics for it, which was a bit of an arduous process because I tend to obsess over stuff, but it's all done now. So, and we'll talk a little bit about that later as well, because I think that I know that there's a question about that. So, all right. Oh, hey, welcome, Kirk. What's happening? Getting closer and closer. Pretty soon you're going to be here before me, waiting on me. All right, so let's get into the questions. Got a list of names here. We can start oh my gosh, I would be so remiss if I forgot about the whole thing. So we talked about last week. If you weren't here last week and you didn't know, one of the questions I got last week was about New Year's resolutions. And I talked about how I don't really do resolutions, but my mom and I have this tradition where we get a word of the year that we assign to ourselves at random. And so we essentially just make a list of words that are, just maybe like ideas or virtues or adjectives, or it really could be anything. And then you just pick a number at random, and that kind of just assigns a word for you to just kind of keep in your head for the year. So, all that said, at the end of tonight's episode and during chat, I'm going to go through what all of the numbers are and what the words are. In the interim, if you'd like to participate in having a random word of the year, go ahead and pick yourself a number now. You can put it in the chat if you want to, or you don't have to share it, but just kind of like, pick a number between 1 and 20, hold it in your head. Yeah, it's like rolling the dice, although you're doing it electively. So pick a number between 1 and 20, and then just kind of hold on to that number. And then at the end of the episode, we'll go through what the actual things are. And somebody please remind me, because I might forget. So don't let me end the episode without going over what the numbers are. But at the moment, everybody pick a number between 1 and 20, and then at the end, we'll assign I'll go through what the words are for each number, and then we'll talk about what number I had. Okay, so, oh man, good on me for remembering that. Even though I had a note about it, I still had to remember at the last minute. All right, so let's get into the questions. The first question this evening, according to the list of names, is from Tessa. And Tessa asks, "Hi Bard, longtime D&D player, first-time question. Without meaning to do it on purpose, my party and I wrapped our campaign just before Christmas. So we decided to break... wrapped it. I see what you did there. Decided to break until after the new year. Now we're starting a new campaign, but we're unsure what to do. Can you or chat offer some adventure themes or concepts that align with the spirit of the new year or resolutions? Thanks in advance." Well, thank you for the question, Tessa. That is kind of funny and interesting that happened, so that's kind of cool. Take advantage of that. The schedule of the universe working with your party. Let's see. Well, what does chat think? I want to know what chat thinks. I do have a thing that I wrote down. The first thing that comes to mind immediately is like trying something new. So that could be something that you could use as kind of a starting point, at least for people building out their characters, is that it's like, okay, well, maybe in the spirit of the new year, we'll try to play a character that we've never played before. So like if you're somebody that's really melee heavy, then play a spellcaster, or if you're somebody that rogues a lot, like tank, just to see. That's one thing. That's one route you could go. Scapelli says political chaos. I don't know if that was an answer to, if that was just a random thought, or if that was an answer to this. I said, encourage players to try something new or challenge themselves to accomplish something within RP or character development. So that's kind of a thing. Must rescue the new year from the old year. If it can devour the new year, we'll gain another year of life. Whoa. Man, I should be asking you for plot points for episodes. Talk with the group and see what everyone is interested in trying. Stroke of midnight, the party awakes, wondering how, what, and why, and where they are. Everyone emerges at the conclusion of the apocalypse. Society is rebuilding, but it turns out to be an illusion. Think Matrix. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed Organized Lightning. Thank you. A great catastrophe has befallen the Sword Coast. A 4.9 magnitude earthquake has hit, and a tsunami is threatening to destroy Baldur's Gate, and your party must find a way to prevent further destruction. Also, yeah, these are just like great, like, just starting plot points. Character-focused campaign might be a good idea if everyone's into it. Yeah, that could be something that's cool, like sort of an introspection on a character level, on an RP level. Start off with high-level characters and let the party have fun before wiping. Start with level 1, who are the reincarnations, new year, new you. Oh, that's a really cool idea. I actually like that a lot. That's a really cool one. So, you do like a session 1 where it's just, super OP, go kill stuff, have lots of fun, make it epic, and then wipe the party, and then they're all reincarnated and have to start back from one. And you could also kind of combine the ideas of like trying a new character. So in that, like, maybe there's some sort of an inversion of the spirits. I'm thinking like in that Scooby-Doo movie where they all like switch bodies. The kind of that way in terms of the reincarnation. So like maybe the barbarian gets reincarnated as the warlock, etc. Wall of Stone cast at 10th level. Take turns being DM. Play a mod or another homebrew switch after whatever ends. Huh. Yeah, I think that there's something in there for you. I like the idea of the characters, of trying something new with the characters, and then you can combine that with the idea of them being reincarnated. Necromancers are just really really late healers. That's true, I guess, on a certain level. It makes me immediately think of like the slope bro meme. Where it's just like always like a year late in whatever's going on. It's pretty much a necromancer is just like they're really late clerics. Just like, oh man, sorry I wasn't here sooner, but I got you. And hey, the person that would be reincarnated would probably be pretty happy. So all right, let's keep moving. We got another question to move to. Thank you for that question, Tessa. I hope that there's an answer in there for you. The next question, as you might expect on this podcast, is from Chris. And Chris asks, if you could play in a campaign based on any TV show or movie, which would you pick? Oh, pardon me. I had to get a sip of water. Thank you for the question, Chris. Firefly comes to mind immediately. I think we've talked about this before, but it's always interesting to have a question like this, and it's a fun thought exercise because I have been itching to play some D&D, and I'm going to try and make that part of my goal for 2024 is playing some, whether it's D&D or not, playing some form of, streaming some form of TTRPG. Firefly... man, boy, howdy. That would be so fun. To, like, run Cowboy Al as a PC in that world. That'd be wicked fun. I also put down... where is it? Where's my stuff? Oh, One Piece. One Piece, I think, would be really fun because... I was actually just talking to somebody who's playing a One Piece campaign. I don't know if I would go for a fruit. I feel like I would just get hockey. I feel like I would go hockey if I was going to do it because it's like, might as well, right? We've already kind of established that hockey is stronger than fruits. I mean, depending on who we're talking about. Well, no, not really. So, One Piece comes to mind. Maybe The Matrix might be cool. I know Star Wars is fun. I've played multiple Star Wars campaigns over the years. What about you, chat? What do y'all think? What would you do? Detective story to find a missing dragon. Conan the Adventurer is the obvious answer, but maybe more of a Samurai Pizza Cats. Oh yeah, what about stuff like That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime or My Hero Academia would be fun. Anything Joss Whedon. Oh yeah, good call. Angel, Buffy. Some gritty noir film. The Wire. Oh yeah, or like The Sopranos. That could be fun. Power Rangers TTRPG. Whoa. Nami? Giant ball is falling on the city. Oh, yeah, for the New Year's thing. Firefly was your first thought. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, yeah, maybe. But I feel like at that point, you might as well just homebrew it. I don't know what you'd be gaining from Game of Thrones other than maybe connections to existing characters. That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime is a really good show. Ooh, Demon Slayer might be fun too. That might be cool as hell. To be like a party of demon slayers going after demons. Cyberfaxes. Isn't that a thing about how, like, based on the timeline, like Abraham Lincoln could have gotten a fax from a samurai or something. What's that thing about how all these things happened at the same within the same timeline, but they don't sound like they would happen in the same timeline? The Last and Airbender TTRPG. That'd be pretty fun. Star Wars, I think, is always a good too. Star Trek might be fun, but we did a Firefly one-shot, I think, on the channel. And would have liked to explore that more. Killer clowns from outer space. That would be insane. Oh, and of course, I'm sure there's there's going to be coming all kinds of weird stuff with the Steamboat Mickey. Steamboat Willie. Dark Crystal homebrew. Oh, yeah, or like maybe a Labyrinth. It'd be fun to be like Muppets. I think it would be really fun to like be Muppets that are just be a Muppet that's and then pick your class, right? So you could be like a Fozzie Bear bard or like a Kermit bard. Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X would be fun. Gotta release a trailer for the Mickey Slasher movie. Yeah, that's not surprising. Well, they did that to Winnie the Pooh, right? Puppet Treasure Island game. Yeah, most definitely. Miss Piggy's definitely the Barb. She's definitely the barbarian. Rage. And a steady Animal the Berserker. Oh, man. I need this now. I need Muppets as a D&D party. Muppets are so funny. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I did it. I didn't sing it. Bunsen's the what do you call it? The artificer. Right? Bunsen and Beaker. Well, Beaker. No, Beaker, that guy is something different. The Beaker is, I think, on the same tip as like Jar Jar. Scooter the Dungeon Master's assistant. Yeah, isn't there like a meme about that or a joke about that? Something. Maybe somebody made it. The D&D Muppets. No, if not, that needs to be a thing. That needs to happen. All right, moving on. Hopefully that's an answer in there, Chris. The next question we've got on deck is from Grog. And Grog asks, Yazek, I love the new album, and I'm looking forward to the new dice and supplement stuff you have planned for 2024. On to my question. Can you discuss the potential benefits or challenges associated with incorporating AI-driven or computer-assisted tools in D&D or related TTRPG gameplay experiences? Thanks, and can't wait for the D&D Christmas album. Well, thank you. I appreciate your kind words about the album. I'm glad that it's out, and I'm happy to hear that you enjoyed it. I will be working on a Christmas album this year, so I'm hoping to have that out before, probably, ideally before Thanksgiving. And we are going to be working on some supplemental stuff and some dice, too. So we don't have hard dates on that yet, but the dice are coming soon. And I'm supposed to be having a meeting this upcoming week about supplement stuff. So we'll get that going as well. But that wasn't the main part of the question, right? Oh, the main part of the question was about AI. Yeah, so we talked about this before, but not in a while. Look, I talk to ChatGPT every day. I use Midjourney every day. I think that AI is a tool that it really comes to, it just like anything else. I think it comes down to who's using it and for what purpose. Because when it comes to like content production, I think that there's a disconnect with people that don't make art. I think that there's a disconnect where they think like all of a sudden, because AI exists, now there's just going to be all of these people who just make content just for the sake of making money. And it's like, first of all, that's already happening. Okay, I don't know if you've seen how many Fast and the Furious movies there are, but like those aren't written with like passion in mind. They make those movies because they know that those movies make money. So for one, that's going to always exist. It's just making it easier for them to do. And two, as an artist, I'm not going to stop making stuff. So regardless of how much, how many of these production studios are just generating all of their content with AI, has no bearing on whether or not I'm making stuff. And in fact, you could very well argue that the more that the big production houses do that, the more of a craving there's going to be for, what will be probably later referred to as like organic art or, analog or manual art or whatever, however they'll phrase it. But regardless, when it comes to D&D stuff, I think it's the same type of thing. Like, I don't think anybody's interested in having their DM be replaced by an AI. And hey, maybe some people are, in which case that's great. If you're like a solo player or somebody that's not very social, then that's, the more advanced the AI gets, the better it is for you. I think that the people have been using, I've been seeing a lot of content where people are turning their NPCs into their games into essentially AIs, and as a result, the interactions with them are much more expansive. That's much more elaborate. It's much more of an experience. And so, whether that's a good or a bad thing is a different conversation, I think probably for later down the road. But in the meantime, in the interim, it's just like, they're just other tools that are helping you make the stuff that you're already doing easier. Anybody that makes anything, because really when you think about it, like D&D is just like another form of art, like another form of storytelling. Obviously there's mechanics and there's a game to it and there's like a storyline, but it's also like kind of a beautiful thing. I think anybody that plays can agree that, even probably some of the dumber moments in D&D are some of the funniest. Oh man, the most recent, it's not going to come for another couple of weeks on the Baldur's Gate 3 compilations, but just so y'all know, there was a recent thing where we had a little bit of a run-in at the bank, and it was hilarious. So probably some of the most fun I've had in quite a while playing D&D. But all of that's to say, like, I think that overall it's going to be great. Companies like Wizards and Hasbro, they're always going to be cutting corners to make the most money. That's all they're ever going to care about. Doesn't really matter how many tools there are or not. But I think that independent creators and independent players can use the tools to their advantage as something that is not replacing the DM per se, but helping the DM. The best thing about ChatGPT, in my experience specifically with ChatGPT, is that you can just kind of leave the window, or rather the conversation, open, and it'll just retain all of the stuff that you've already talked about. So what a great organizational tool for a DM to be able to help world build. I've been using it to help world build my novel. So it's fantastic because you could just kind of keep it open and talk to it. I think that when it comes to incentive and when it comes to just the general production of the games and stuff, I don't know that AI is going to do much of anything except make the people who just want to make money's job easier. But I think that it'll also make the people who really care about the art and the beauty of the thing, it'll make our job easier too. So I guess that the short answer is, like, I think it's going to be good all around. I think there's going to be growing pains. It's going to be weird, but let's see what's going on in chat. Oh, hey, what's going on, son? I'm one who doesn't want to use AI to make my art, but that's just me. It's a tool. Yeah, no doubt. Like, it's not a thing that... And besides, like, nobody that's making art, nobody that's been making art up to this point sees that and goes, oh, cool, well, I won't have to make anything. It's like, that's not what we're thinking, dude. Like, it's just like, oh, cool, what can I do with this? What can I do with this? It's a tool. Remember that. The Bag of Holding, Clue with Tim Curry. Clue with Tim Curry. It's interactive art, yes. D&D for sure is, I think, a form of interactive art. AI Dungeon is nice because you can play it leisurely. There's nothing compared to my live DM. AI is great for on-the-fly NPCs. Yeah, it's great for all kinds of stuff. I think that you can use it to talk to about really kind of anything. Name me 3 people that don't want to make money. Yeah, well, the thing is that it's like, when you establish that money is what matters the most, money's gonna be what matters the most. And you can't fault people for that. So, some people are going to use AI to just keep making Fast and the Furious 85. And some people are going to use AI to make a cool independent movie. It's just going to happen. Had a fighter say I'm going to jump a 100-foot canyon, rolls a 20. So I say yes. As you run, all of a sudden, you suddenly come to realization you're running towards your sudden and immediate death. You stop yourself just before you tumble down the cliff to your death. Muppet D&D. Every critical miss, the balcony guy, Statler, and Waldorf cast vicious mockery. Oh, man. Now I feel like, now I want to play a Muppet D&D game and be either Statler or Waldorf. Or just run them both. That'd be real fun. That's assuming I wasn't DMing. But yeah, so I think that overall it's going to be a good thing. I think that people can use it for bad, people can use it for good, but I don't think that it's inherent one way or the other just because it's AI. We'll just be going into a brave, new, interesting world. And I'm kind of here for it, to be honest. I've been enjoying it. I use stuff all the time. It's a fun tool. I recommend doing it. Let's put the Muppet D&D game in the Discord. Dude, I'm down. Okay. Moving on, we got more questions. There's a follow-up, too, that we got to get to. So, and we want to do chat at the end. So thank you for the question, Grog. Hope that gives you an answer. Hope I didn't talk too much about stuff that wasn't too pertinent, but I tried my best. You know, I tend to have a bit of a runaway train of thought. So the next question is from Yokai Lover, who I think is actually in the chat. I think I saw earlier. But anyway, let's get into the question. Yokai asks, "Hi, Bard. I know you don't play spellcasters much." So true. So this may be a better question for chat. Chat, keep your ears on. In our 3-5 campaign, I'm a 7th level half-orc druid, 6'1" with a weasel companion who usually sits on my shoulder, and I love that image. Yeah, I hear that. The DM recently gave me access to a ton of spells I normally wouldn't have. Uh-oh. I was wondering if you or that's like my worst nightmare. I was wondering if you or Chad has any suggestions on how to keep the master spell list and daily prep spell list organized. If it explains why I'm asking, I currently have access to 5 3-5 books, all druid spells, any AC boost spells, and cleric cure spells from those same 5 books. We lost the cleric and now I'm the healer. We play IRL, and I prefer to use paper and pencil. Sorry for the long question, but thank you for the podcast, and I hope you and all of Manshorts had a good holiday season. Well, thank you very much for the question. You don't have to apologize. It wasn't that long of a question, honestly. It's just 2 slates. So, let's talk about it. Keeping track of spells. So, I'm going to defer to chat on this one initially. I do have some notes. But, ooh, man, you are not wrong about me not having much experience with spellcasters. So, warlocks, wizards, sorks, what say you? I know y'all are out there. A digital notebook. Keep a small log book. But you only get so many spells per day. But you can prepare different spells after long rests. Highly recommend taking digital notes on a tablet. Yeah, so I said, you know, spell cards is maybe an option, but that's not just for this. Is anybody in chat aware of, I'm sure there probably is one, there's probably a place that is dedicated to having a list of all the 3-5 spells, and I imagine that you would be able to sort by what their capabilities are. Word document or Google Doc recipe cards work for prepared. Make the extended spells on a separate list. So, yeah, they should be on their own sheet. The ones that I think that if you're using paper pen, it should be on their own sheet. You can group them either by level. You could group them by effect. It might be easier to group them by effect, because if there's ever a moment where the DM's like, wait a minute, can you cast that? You could be like, yeah, and this is why, because it's under this category. Oh, spreadsheets. This is why I said, and yes, man, ooh-wee, I like spreadsheets. Google Sheets, like an Excel document, is great for this, because you can do the access as to like what level and what type of spell. It's great for sorting. You could even, I think, set it up with formulas so that you could have like drop-down boxes and stuff, so you could change data to get new data. That is, I think, a really good way to do it. Oh, well, thanks for hanging around, Phoenix. Have a good one. Have a good evening. Prefer to handwrite my characters. Usually have a spiral notebook for one character. Listing the book names and the page, if that helps and you plan on using, will be very helpful. Yeah, most definitely. But Excel spreadsheets or Google Sheets, man, that I use them so much. And maybe it's because I used them a lot in office work over the years, but I use them for everything. I used an Excel spreadsheet to organize my album. It's just easier to lay things out. So, and you can use it on usually use an Excel sheet for your daily lists and a master collection of the spells in a Word doc, but there's so many that had access to that I'm struggling. I see. So, you can also have different tabs on your Excel spreadsheet. I'm not sure if you knew that, but that's something to consider. It is tough, though, with access and having quick access to all of the stuff and what they do. Yeah, at least being able to mark like what page they're on and what book they're with. But yeah, there's got to be some sort of an app. Let me see. 3.5, D&D 3.5 spell tracker app. There's got to be something. Spellbook, it says. Serves as a way to look up descriptions during your session. It includes all spells from the SRD 3.5 and lets you store your spells in custom lists for even faster access. So that might be worth checking out. It looks like it's on the Google Play Store. But I think any of that stuff, I think a spreadsheet is a good way to do it yourself, but it does look like there's apps for it. So you might just go to either the Apple or the Google Play Store and just search like, D&D 3.5 spell, D&D 3.5 spells should be good. And then you can find something. The custom list will be nice for this case. Yeah. I think that let me look at what this thing looks like. Oh, yeah, dude. This is great. It looks like it allows you to quickly sort stuff, too. So, and not terrible reviews. I mean, not great, but it's not awful. So definitely recommend checking that out. You think people have tables listed on web pages at least? Sort of by level spell type. Yeah, there's probably also a website that does it, too, that you could look into. But spell sheet for sure. Keep a set of cards device with descriptions of the spells on hand so you can check in between. Oh yeah, that's the thing. You could do custom spell cards, right? So you could just use like index cards. Well, index cards are fun too. They're good for study and tests, although I never studied for tests. For wizard, I handwrite my spells. For divine, you have access to all, so maybe just the ones you prepare. Yeah, that's true. Did you mention your class? What class are you? You said that, didn't you? I'm sure. A druid. Oh, a druid. Yeah. Man, you should be thankful that you're a druid, too. Imagine if you were like a warlock or like a sorc, and it was like, okay, you have access to the spells in these 5 books. Be like, what? Yeah, I see now. So you could probably even find like all 3.5 druid spells. And yeah, there's stuff like that on the SRD. But then it's a matter of like putting those other ones in. So that's, I think, the cool thing with the Eldritch Blast, Warlock Eldritch Blast, and that's about it. True, yeah. All right. Well, I think that there's something in there for you, hopefully. I wondered how adept I'd be at answering this question, considering my little experience with spellcasting. And honestly, like the spellcaster stuff that I have done is druid, but I usually end up playing druids like a little more fightery or rangery than necessarily spellcasting. Oh, hey, Duncan, what's happening? No worries. Remember, you're not late if you're here. That's the rule. As a level 7, a warlock only gets like 3. Oh, that's true. Wizard that only knows 1 spell and has to find ways to use it for everything. That is funny. That could be a good anime, actually. That'd be a great isekai. Like, I got transported to this world, but I only have 1 spell. And it's like a cantrip. but then the character uses it to get to the top and save the world. All right, so yes, please let us know how that goes. And if you're not already on the Discord, please join that. I think that it was posted earlier in the chat. I need to do better about posting it in the actual description of the video. So remind me later to do that if I don't. Geez, I don't know what I would do without chat. If I may quote Dragonlance, Dragons on Summer Flame. How many spells, Palin? Just one, but it's a good one. Yeah. It depends on what it is, true. You could get two. You could get by for sure. Certainly Warlocks do it with Eldritch Blast all the time. And yes, Pirate has put the link to the Discord in there. So thank you for that. If you're not already on that, get on that. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the description so that it's in there. Let's do that now. Discord. All right, it has been updated. So, thank you for the question. We've got 3 more questions and a follow-up. We'll get into some chat and talk about our numbers and what all that means. Thank you for the question, Yokai. Best of luck in figuring that out. And moving on to the next question, which according to the list of names is from Mark. Yes. And Mark asks, hello, Charles. Thanks for the podcast. In the last few episodes of the podcast and the D&D editions, I've heard you say that YouTube will not show us your videos without notifications turned on. Is that true? Can you elaborate? I only ask because I don't have them turned on, but I always see your videos in my feed. I watch every week and I want to support in any way I can. Thanks and have a good one. Wow, thank you for the question, Mark, and appreciate you watching the stuff that we make. In a way, you answered your own question, I think, and I'll get into what that means. So this is the deal with notifications and YouTube and how it all works. Because as somebody who's been making, I've been making stuff on YouTube since 2008. So it's changed a lot over the years. And this was only a recent discovery that I had after I had a conversation with somebody at Google about it, so we can talk a little bit about it, just so everybody's aware of how it works. So the way that it used to be, back in the day, years ago, when there was like a partner program and stuff, the way that it used to be is that all that mattered for the algorithm was what you watched and what was popular, and then to a certain extent, like who you were subscribed to. But usually the amalgam of whatever videos you would see when you would log into your YouTube back then, it was, you know, what everybody else was watching, videos of somebody that you watch when you're on YouTube, because the algorithm kind of starts to learn like what you seek out specifically. And then also anybody that you're subscribed to. So even if maybe you hadn't watched somebody's video in a while, if you were subscribed to them, they would still be in that orbit of what YouTube was showing you. Years later, when they added notifications, the algorithm holds somebody that has notifications turned on a channel at a much higher weight than somebody who doesn't have notifications turned on, for example. And so now, once they introduce that, now there's more than just those 3 things. There's a 4th thing. So now more than just whatever's popular, whatever you're watching, and whatever you're subscribed to, it also takes into account what you have notifications turned on for. Well, obviously, what you have notifications turned on for is more valuable algorithmically to YouTube than somebody that you're just simply subscribed to. So as a result, what happens is if you don't have notifications turned on, then you might as well not be subscribed at this point today, just in the sense algorithmically. Now, the reason that you see our content is because you watch it every week. But I would venture to believe that if you stopped watching us for a few weeks, whether you were subscribed to us or not, you would stop seeing our content, because your feed that the algorithm gives you is based on all the stuff I just talked about. And so YouTube is going to first look, and it makes sense, really. Like, why would I show you something? Why would I show you content from a channel that you're only subscribed to when I could show you content for a channel that you have notifications turned on for, because I know you're way more likely to watch that one, right? So it's very bizarre and it's very weird, but the people that watch us every week don't know the difference, right? Because you guys are great and you're here every week, and that's awesome, and we really appreciate it. At the end of the day, the ones that are watching us every week are the ones that we're making the content for. So you people who watch us every week don't notice it, because it's like, well, what do you mean I watch you every week? I don't have notifications turned on. And it's like, yeah, but you keep getting our stuff pushed to you because they know that you're going to watch, because your watch history matters. But if you stopped watching for a while and then you didn't have notifications turned on, you might not ever see us again. And so that's why I encourage people to turn on notifications. I always assumed that was just like, you wanted to encourage people to do that so that they could see. I didn't realize that you people just straight up wouldn't see your stuff. And it explains so much, right? Because over the years, I would just get the amount of emails and messages that I've gotten from people that are like, hey man, really wish that you'd get to start making those D&Ds again. Man, boy, those were funny. And it's like, we've made them weekly for 3 years. I don't, like, if you're not seeing it, then it's unfortunately due to this huge shift in the algorithm with YouTube, because they're making everything about YouTube Shorts now, and then like with the notifications and stuff. So it's like, I'm not saying that you have to turn on notifications to see us, because that's not technically true, because if you watch us every week, you'll keep seeing us. But in the world of how all of this stuff is changing in subscriptions, that's what that stuff is. And here's an even crazier thing that the person from Google told me, is the rep was like, yeah, and also just so you're aware, she said this to me, she was like, also so you're aware, if for any reason someone unsubscribes, whether they do it manually themselves or they're just kind of like purged, which they're starting to do that more now. They, for a while, weren't doing it. But if for any reason somebody becomes unsubscribed to a channel and then they resubscribe, by default notifications are turned off. So they would then have to turn on notifications. It's just very weird. And I'm sure all of it's very beneficial to YouTube, and I'm sure that it allows Google to maximize their profits, and that's great, and that makes all the shareholders happy. But it's just getting tougher for creators, because it really hurts me when I hear people say stuff like, man, haven't seen you in a while. And it's like, well, have you been looking? Because like, clearly YouTube hasn't been showing you that we've been making content. So I don't know what to say. And it's a weird one too, because you try to make an announcement about it and it's like, well, the people that need to hear this aren't going to see it, because they don't, they've probably been at this point either unsubscribed from the channel or just like, we're just not in their orbit anymore. And so in the age of content, just constantly people being bombarded with stuff, it's hard to keep track of that. So, all right, I've been talking about this for way too long to get on a soapbox about it, but I hope that answers your question, Mark. That's why it's important to turn on notifications for people, so everybody's aware. And yes, please like the stream, because that really helps the algorithm. If you're hanging out in chat or you're listening, please give the video a like, because that's good for the algorithm. So they don't tell you about the show until it's like, hey, maybe that's what it is, Kirk. Maybe that's the true conspiracy. We'll work together to get to the bottom of this for sure. All right. So thank you for the question. The next question is from, let's see. The next question is from Dave. So let's get into that. We actually only had 6 questions in a follow-up, so I miscounted. But Dave asks, hey Chaz, first of all, I wanted to thank you for posting the lyric video for Organized Lightning. You're welcome. Do you plan on doing the same for Join the Party? There's a few bars on that one that have eluded me, so I'd love to see a lyric video for it as well. Happy New Year to you and the crew, and I hope you guys have an awesome 2024. Well, thank you for the question, Dave. Yes, I am going to be making one for Join the Party. So yeah, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, I did finish the lyric video for Organized Lightning. It took a long time because I made it, pretty much how I make the questions for this show. and I did it sort of slate by slate of image by image, with changing the color of the text as it went along and trying to include as much as I could as possible as far as the lyrics and the info about it. So that's available on my Yazik YouTube channel. You can go check that out. It took longer than it probably should have because, it's ADHD, get distracted doing all kinds of stuff. But now that I've done it, I feel better about being able to do it with Join the Party. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to, that's the next one I'm going to work on to get ready for put up onto my channel. As a long-term channel, it's a good idea to use the community button to alert loyal viewers of upcoming live streams and premieres with accurate dates, times, and time zones. Otherwise, the default YouTube page is hit or miss regarding live content. Oh, good to know. Yeah, I have been told that the community channel is like crazy weighted when it comes to the algorithm. And we've actually seen it before where it's just like, what is this? They should have an upcoming tab. Oh, yeah, no doubt. That would be really smart. I don't know why they wouldn't do that. Just do it like the old school TV guides. Because, hey, spoiler alert, we're going to make a video every Sunday at 10. Although, it's funny that immediately after saying that, I'm going to let everybody know that we're not having one this Sunday. We're actually going to be, and I think I talked about it last week, going to take a little bit of a break. We are, oddly enough, going to have an episode next Sunday, but then not likely any others for the rest of January. And that's not to say that we won't have any content, because Justin and I are going to have a sit down, have a meeting, and talk about like what kind of stuff we want to stream, and maybe if we want to make other stuff in the interim while we just kind of take a little break and step back, because we've been making content weekly for a really long time. And so be nice to kind of take a break and see if maybe there's some other stuff that we might want to do and or try. I've considered doing like a Man Shorts watches Man Shorts kind of thing. Thought that would be pretty cool. Can we talk on Discord about adding new Man Shorts emojis? Yeah, we can do that. I don't know how to do that, but can I add those that you've got there into the Discord? Probably, because I have I think the raw files for them. I don't know how to do it, so I think it's nice that you guys are changing things up. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think we're gonna give some stuff a try and just see how some stuff does. Notably streaming. I want to do more of a long form. Justin and I were talking about doing a long form flim flam razzle dazzle Baldur's Gate 3 Dark Urge stream where we just once a week we just get on and we stream the whole thing, and it's just available as a VOD, and do that. And then, I'm not opposed to the idea of doing a D&D campaign either. Everything would just kind of have to line up schedule wise. But even if it was just a one shot, that might be real fun. Maybe I can get some people together for a one shot towards the end of this month, and we can just do like a little stream of one shot to maybe whet the appetite, see if maybe we could turn it into a full campaign. You made the one you use. You don't know if everyone used it, if y'all can even see it. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but we'll look at it later. Those videos will definitely be demonetized. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I think with the content, like with the monetization system, like I have a really great track record in terms of rating our own videos. So, I'd be surprised. Drunk down for the one shot. He did one shots during Airships of Nuada. Oh yeah, I guess that's true. So yeah, that'd be kind of fun to do. Something to think about. All right. So, thank you for the question. We've got a follow-up to talk about, and then we can have some chat, and we can talk about numbers and stuff. But the follow-up is from Mel. And this question was, I believe, the question leading either 2 weeks before or right before Christmas. But this is the follow-up. Mel says, "Hey Bard, I just wanted to follow up and let you know the advice you and chat gave for gift giving was a smashing success." Oh, good. I made brownies and cupcakes, which people seem to enjoy. I also got my mom and Graham those birthday trackers you hang on the wall, and they love them. I wrote a song for my sister and she cried. Happy tears. Anyway, big thanks to you and chat for helping me defeat the gift gamut. Take care. Well, thank you, Mel, for the update. I'm glad to hear that things went well in that regard. Yeah, those birthday things are a smash or gift if somebody doesn't already have one or hadn't heard of them. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but I think we talked about it obviously we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when we brought it up, but it's like these little things that it's just kind of like it has a list of all the months, right? Like the January, February, March, April, May, June, Jason Derulo. Isn't that how it goes? And then with that, it has little markers that you indicate the date for people in your family. So it's an easy, cool visual way to keep track of people's birthdays, because you could see like, oh, when's your birthday? Oh yeah, you're in April, and then you're the 15th or whatever it is. So weird that your birthday would be on the day that taxes are due, but I mean, well, not weird. I'm sure lots of people have a birthday of April 15th. Thank you, Austin, for becoming a dungeon crawler. Appreciate the membership. All of those things are very helpful for us, and I would encourage people, if you've considered doing the memberships, to do that, just because when we do inevitably stream stuff in the future, I think that that'll be one of the benefits of having the memberships, is that there's not ads. So, be helpful. Good evening. Glad to hear the gift advice helped them. Yeah, most definitely. Pretty soon you'll be in a 9-month-er. Oh, yeah, man. Well, we appreciate it. Yeah, all of that stuff really makes a big difference, and we couldn't do any of what we do without y'all. So, alrighty. Well, and you know what? Now that I'm seeing, let's talk about this, because I want to. This isn't really a question so much as it's just kind of like information, I guess. And it's important, I think, that we talk about it. So I made things for that to talk about, and I'm glad that we have the time to do it. So this was an email that I got from an Erica. And let's talk about this. So Erica writes, I wanted to start by saying thank you for all you do. Your music, D&D shorts, and podcasts have been a light of my life for the last several years. My husband and I have been following the Mann Shorts channel from the beginning. Thank you so much. I was writing to discuss accessibility in terms of D&D as it relates to people who are blind and visually impaired. I fall into this group of people, and I have been playing D&D for the last 4 years. I've run campaigns as well as played as a member of a party. In case anyone is legally blind like me and listens to the podcast, I wanted to let them know there are some ways they can play D&D. First, I keep track of my character sheet using a refreshable braille display. This lets me make notes, keep track of spell slots, inventory, or keep track of anything I find useful. For those who don't have access to an electronic braille display, they could use a digital option, such as a Google Doc or a PDF that they can convert. You can even keep track of your sheet using a manual brailer. If a player has some usable vision, they may consider using Google Docs or a Microsoft Word doc, an electric magnifier. If you're legally blind and play in person, you can use 3D maps such as Legos, HeroScape pieces, or magnets. I've even used a chessboard to simulate combat with one square representing the 30-foot motion range. This email is also a plea for you to work with some of your sponsors to make websites like D&D Beyond, Roll20, and World Anvil accessible with screen reader software. I'm writing a novel and would have loved to use World Anvil, but it doesn't work with my voiceover software. I've really grown to be a huge fan of your music and the channel, and I look forward to continuing to support it as best I can. In 6 months, I hope to return as a lucky participant in Art Corner to promote my book and my metaphysical shop. I really hope you had a great winter holiday. Well, thank you very much for all the information, Erica. And so there was a lot there. First of all, when it comes to like D&D Beyond, who knows what they're doing over there. I will say that it's important that, does anybody know what this button does though? Thank you very much, Austin, for the donation. So push button activate self. One of my players is legally blind. He's a massive tablet with everything zoomed in. So, I just kind of wanted to put that out there and say that, I'm more than happy to mention it to some of the sponsors that we work with. I can't tell you what D&D Beyond is doing, but has anyone made talking dice? That seems like an easy moneymaker. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that would even work, honestly. But thank you for the information, Erica. I'm going to look more into that as to what I can do to help that, and then maybe we could talk about that at a later episode. It was just something that I wanted to put out there because you took the time to send the email, and I took the time to read through it, and we thought it was important just to have it kind of put out there. Also, you're more than welcome on Art Corner. For sure, be happy to shout out another artist and push out their work. So, pretty sure that Kraken could make Braille dice. Yeah, I wonder if they have. I'm sure that they probably do. Somebody does. More disturbing lying dice. A die roller app that tells you what they rolled. It's strange to me that D&D Beyond wouldn't work with whatever, maybe work with whatever your screenwriter software is. Weight sensor, I don't know how small it'd be, but have a weight sensor inside the die, a ball bearing, then presses on it and know which side is up. Oh, rigged dice, huh? All right, well, we're officially into chat at this point. So thanks, everybody, for all of the information. Chat sends Erica lots of love, most definitely. And like I said, I'm going to do a little bit more research so that I'm a little bit more knowledgeable on what I'm talking about. And then we can talk about it at a later time. But that information that you've sent is out there, and I'll certainly talk to some of the brands that we work with. It surprises me with World Anvil, but we'll look into it. Word of the year numbers. Thank you, Kirk, for the reminder. Let's start chat with that. So, I've got an image of the list. Not that I'll be showing it here, but I've got it for me. So we're going to go through what the words are. So, as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, everybody pick a number from 1 to 20, and I'm going to go through the list of what the words are. And so remember your number to hear what your word is, and this will be your word of the year. You can kind of do with it whatever you want. I usually try to just kind of keep it in my mind and try and use it for good when it comes up. So, beginning with number 1, we have passion. Number 2 is courage. Number 3 is gratitude. Number 4 is motivation. 5 is optimism. 6, adventure. 7, kindness. 8, balance. 9, creativity. 10, generous. 11, perspective. 12 is joyful. 13 is appreciate. 14 is self-discipline. 15 is accomplish. 16 is reflection. 17 is mindful. 18 is discover. 19 is honesty. And 20 is patience. So, those are the words. And so, whatever word you have, I usually recommend people look it up, even if you know what it means. I think it's helpful to look it up so you could see what the actual definition of it is. And, you don't necessarily have to build your whole day around it, but I think it's a cool thing to just kind of keep the word in the back of your head. For anybody that doesn't know, mine was, I picked 11, so I have perspective. And I'm still kind of figuring out what that means. I kind of already have an idea of how I'm going to be using it throughout the year. But who knows? Maybe I don't know. Maybe having the word perspective will offer a whole new perspective. You know what I mean? So now everybody has their words, so take them and do with them what you will. But usually they're good. Usually they're good words. So usually it's a thing to kind of try and embody, or you technically know what balance is. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's also more than just its textbook definition too, right? Because something like balance obviously is there's physical balance, but then there's also like metaphorical balance between like life and work balance and stuff like that. I had balance one year. It's good. It helps you, reminds you. So perspective is good for me, I guess, because, it might help in emotional regulation. Reflection is nice. Yeah, reflection is good. I think Justin got Justin got mindful. And then I think my wife got reflection. What was 8? No worries. I can look again. 8 was a balance. So you got balance too if you got 8. So adventure's cool. 3, gratitude. Got a lot of bad news lately, but everyone was kind about showing it. So grateful. Very sorry to hear about all the bad news, but hopefully that can apply for you in a more positive way in the future. Perspective is seeing the race from the taillight point of view of the car ahead of your Mustang. Sad ice cream wasn't one of the words. Yeah, that'd be awesome if your word was ice cream. I'm kind of surprised that I didn't pick gratitude because I told Mom to add it to the list, but I don't know. I had to go with the gut of picking number 11. So I got perspective, and we'll see how it applies. What else is going on in the world of chat? The football things happening with the sports ball. Yeah. So this is what we got, the current playoff picture. This assumes that we win against Tennessee, which we might not, because we have a tendency to do that kind of stuff. This also assumes, I think, doesn't this assume that Miami wins against Buffalo? And Tampa's in there probably, right? Is there a way? Has Tampa locked that? Is there anything that can happen that would prevent them from winning the division at this point? Or are y'all like 2 games up or something? Because here's the thing. In spite of what we are on paper and what I thought we were going into this season, we are in a 3-way tie in our division, such that if we lose, we might not even make the playoffs. We need to win to get in. Tampa loses to Carolina and the Saints are in. Yeah, but I mean, that's very unlikely that Tampa loses to Carolina. We beat Carolina, and we all know what we've got going on. So I'm hoping that the Jags beat the Titans, and I think that we're capable of beating the Titans. Don't get me wrong. It's just that we have a tendency to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And, hoping that we were going to finish our season 11-6, granted, 10-7 is only 1 game behind, but if it means missing the playoffs, well, then that would be ridiculous, right? I have seen that conspiracy theory song about the colors of the of the Super Bowl logo. Yeah, because they are purple and red this year. And I have been thinking Ravens 49ers for a couple of weeks. But who knows? You never know. It might be, maybe the Browns will shock everybody and win. It'd be insane. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, they are still professional football players, but they're not that great. Man, you know who's really going through it too, by the way, speaking of ball, is the Detroit Pistons. Yeesh. They've lost 31 games. They've won 3 games. The Detroit Pistons. That's tough. That's got to be really tough to keep going out there and just keep on losing. But hey, maybe it'll build character. By the way, they get talked about a lot being 3-31, but like the Spurs are 5-29. Nobody really seems to care about that. I think you think Pop is tanking so they can stay in the lotto, so they can maybe get another young guy next year. Maybe 31. Yes. It's I don't know how. I don't know how they've done it, but it is bad considering that they've only won 3. So they've played 34 games and they've lost 31 of them. It's real bad. Steelers or Bulls fans? There's a lot of Steelers fans here, oddly, in Jacksonville. I know a lot of Steelers fans. With the Lions, yeah, Lions know, I think, what it's like. Lions and Jags fans get it, like the same tip. We're great at terrible sports teams. No, that's not necessarily true, although probably the case recently, yeah. not much. Well, no, that's not true. Like, I think the Lions are one of the better teams in the NFC. And, we'll just have to see what happens. We'll just have to see what happens in the playoffs. You never know. Any given Sunday, they say. And according to marketing, there's a football game on tomorrow that's the Ravens and the Steelers, and that's Monday Night Football on Saturday. So, it's marketing. What are you going to do? You Cowboys fan? No. Them boys. Yeah, hopefully they don't choke either. They have a tendency to do that. Jags Lions Super Bowl. Yeah, I know. I wanted it. I called that at the beginning of the year, too, the Big Cat Bowl. It's still technically possible, but I just think it's kind of unlikely. I was actually listening. So the follow-up that we had today was from Mel, and I went back to that episode to listen, and I heard myself talking, and this was the game that Trevor had gotten a high ankle sprain. And you could tell, I thought that he would be out for the rest of the game. He kept playing, and he was hurt, and then we just kept losing. So, it's tough. Now he's finally sitting down, but Panthers have been bad for years. Yeah. Well, the Panthers and the Jags expanded at the same time, too. So I think that the Panthers and Jags fans there's a little solidarity there, too. All right. Well, we are past time, folks. Wow. Talk about going by fast. So before we get out of here, I'd like to again thank all of our members, patrons, super chatters. Remind everybody to please like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on notifications. Please rate the podcast on your respective platforms. Reminder of the email here at the show, which is bardadvice@gmail.com. Please send all questions, concerns, complaints, criticisms, queries, critiques, stories, follow-ups. Send all of those to bardadvice@gmail.com. If you want to get merchandise, you can do so at manshorts.com. And if you want to contribute to anything that I'm doing musically, you can do so via PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo, all of which are Yazik, YAHZICK. We will be back here next week, same Bard time, same Bard channel, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Man Shorts YouTube channel. The audio for this podcast will be made available, as it always is, tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope that everybody has a fantastic weekend. I hope that everybody has a fantastic week, and I appreciate all of you coming by, and we will see you next time.